So today what we're going to do is we're going to look at something a little different. Um, I have been working on Shotgun Samurai and I've been doing some more work in RGB tools. However, today I'm going to look at something that I've been working on because I've been learning how to build my own game engines. So I've been puttering away. I've made a few different attempts and I decided to kind of build up in scope and make them more complicated as I go. So one of the things I did originally was I made one that was just a simple platformer, like a Pac-Man type maze thing, and you could do like a side view or a top view, whatever you wanted that way, platformer style. Um, and I did it in like basically the exact same template, and then you painted some tiles on. All the all the things were pre-canned, and you just assign values for like life points, etc., etc. So really simple, just to get a grounding as to what it took in order to build a tool to build a game. So I started there. And then I decided to start on my web backend game, but I kind of stopped because I'm like, there's going to be more. I'm going to run into some issues. And because I want this to all be WebGL2 based and have it all web powered so that it didn't matter if you were on a Mac, a Linux, or a Windows or an Android device or whatever, you would be able to run the tools and the games made in the tools. Sorry, my Windows just wants me to make a backup, and I don't use that tool. I have my own backup. So that being said, what I'm going to do is switch over here to the screen capture, and I'm going to show you what I worked on. So this is more or less complete. There's a few tweaks I need to do for style and to adjust the CSS, but basically what we've got here is a game engine. And I'm just going to show you the file directory here. So how this basically works is there's a program called NWjs, and there's another one. I think it's Electron or Proton. I think it's called Electron. And what they are is they're basically a file structure system that kind of simulates a web server or a web backend for your web code to run. Now, in this day and age, the web code is pretty powerful. There's a lot of things you can do with it. It's not the web code of yesteryear. It's fully powerful and scalable. So what we've got here is this is the NWJS folder structure. So there's a couple of logos that I put in here, which are icon format. But then we've got the app sits in this folder here. So except for this logo icon, everything else looks just like the and that's actually a logo for a different program, but I have it in here anyway. But I have everything else comes with NWJS, and there will be 3 different versions. One for Linux, one for it might be 4. There's probably an Android version too. One for Mac and one for Windows. This happens to be the Windows version because we're working on a Windows computer. But that being said, it'd be the same folder structure. Then you just drop your app in a folder called app. Down here, this folder, I'm going to open it up here, this is just a simple JSON file. And what a JSON file is, it's a uniform file that stores data. It's like a mini little flat file database. So it just keeps settings. So whatever settings you need to reference. So in this case, it's real simple. What app are we going to use for the? What are we going to use for the icon? What are we going to use for the? Where's the program? So it's in this folder, app, and then it's just match3.html. What is the title of this program? Well, it's called Match3 Engine, and then you preset the size that you want it to run at. So really simple. And then if you're using a web browser and you need certain arguments, Chromium, Edge, Firefox, whatever, those are placed down here in order to make it run. And basically it just says allow file access because this is an engine, so we want write back capability. So that's pretty much all that handles right there. So what we need now is we go into the app directory just to show you. So basically there's the HTML that runs it. There's a JSON file, copy of the package file that gets created. And then this is the CSS file, which is style. So think of CSS as your GUI or your format, your theme. That's predominantly what CSS does, although modern CSS can do a lot more. Like I heard a guy made a DOS emulator out of just CSS, and so it can do a lot of stuff now. But basically, your HTMLs will then make call on your CSS for your formatting and your menus, and then it'll also call your JavaScript. So I've got something here called assets. This is where different assets and things are kept. Source material. This is where the builder is, and I have a backup copy here because whenever I make changes to it or edits that may be volatile, I like to copy a backup of it first. That could actually be cleaned up for your final shipping once you're sure it's bug free and stuff. But I like working with backup copies so that I don't do something irreversible and completely mess up and have broken something and it takes me forever to fix it. So that's what that's about. So basically, you just have this builder.js in here, which is the JavaScript file that that builds everything. Then this here is the template, which has its own CSS sheet, which is just a copy of the main one more or less, or how the game's going to look. There are some tweaks in it. Source material, data material, assets again. This is just a keep file. That's just a compressed database with the assets in it, or a pointer to the assets, which we'll get to in a minute. Then there's the config for the game that it's actually going to build out. There's the levels, and there's the story. And those are two different JSON scripts that handle different functions in the game. So that's for anyone who wants to know how to build an engine. So that's the boring part. Now we'll get on to the fun part, okay? So I'll close all that down. I'm just going to go up one level. And I'm just going to go... This is where I rendered out the game too. And in here, I've got a folder called Assets. And this is where I put all my different images, music, pictures, whatever else I'm going to use in the game. Here's a sub-menu with my runes and stuff. So just so you know, it's pretty simple file layout and format. Now that comes kind of pre-bundled, and you just put your stuff in those directories. You don't change the name of them. You don't do anything. You just dump the stuff you want to use in there, whatever size or format you want to use. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the engine. So basically, it asks you for a title screen, and you call it what you want. Font, choose whatever font you want. Choose whatever color you want. Title color, that's a subtitle color. Title color, we'll go the brighter red. You can choose your background color if you want. Make it a slate gray. Down here, what do you want to call it when you output it? Game, whatever. You can call it whatever you want. Choose the output destination. So this you would just browse, and then this is going to go to storage drive, and then test game, and we'll just drop it right into there because that's the NWjs folder. So it needs to be a folder inside of it. So we just drop it into the test folder. Select that folder. Then down here, what size tiles? Now it will scale them, but generally you want to work with whatever size you made them. So I made mine all 128, so we'll go 128. This padding, that's a spacing in between the cells, so I just leave it at 24 because it looks really good on the screen, so I mess with it. But you can make them tighter, or you can make them wider apart. You can do whatever you'd like. Choose your assets folder, so choose that folder, and then that's going to be test game, and that's that assets folder I showed you before. There was a reason I showed that to you. Then that's ready to go. Scan the assets folder. So now it's scanned it and it's found a bunch of stuff. Master volume, do you want to set a master volume for the whole game to just play through, or do you want to set it per level? So you can hijack it per level down here, which is what I'll show you. But you could also change the music volume here. So we're just going to turn it down a little bit. There we go. You can turn it down, turn it up, do whatever you want. Basically, I've set it up to just use MP3s. You can use waves as well, but I have not added the FMmpeg in order to use OOGs. I just didn't feel the need to do it. MP3s are fine. It's just background music in this rudimentary or easy engine. Okay, so here's the levels. It gives you 2 by default, so you can see what's what. So you set your target here. So you target score of 1200. So at 1200, it'll complete that level. You can change the background level, make it a blue. This one here, make it a green. right? All pretty simple stuff, but really easy. You can also remove it. This doesn't remove the background level. It removes this whole row, which is this whole level. You can add a level. It'll add a whole nother level. Here you could choose, when you open up this tree, what you want in this level. So match 3, okay. So are we going to do a drag and match game? It's already set to that. Or are we going to go to a Mahjong click, in which case we would change this to a click to match. Or are we going to go to a connect sockets? And if so, down here you see this is all changed. And so you need to choose which type of socket is which. Or you're going to go to a code lock game. So code lock is basically you've got to guess the number based on a hint, right? So so the hint would be this year is question mark, and then it's set to 4. Change the color of the code number. Let's make that a nice blue that glows here. Okay, hint and helper color, we'll make it a bright green. There we go. Now you can't miss it. Up here you could choose the music, so we'll just choose that one. And now you need to choose the asset pack number match. Now in this one, there's different ways that I was going to add to configure this later on. Right now I don't have it. But this one you basically just choose a different number pad for each one. Oh, sorry, for each one as you go down the list, etc., etc. Right, and then you get that set up, and then basically, what is the solution to the code? Sorry, I didn't show you that. So that would be 2026. But if you change this to a 2-number digit, then you could make this just 26. And so on, up to whatever you want, a bajillion, who knows, but good luck ever putting that in, right? So, right? So now you could change that out too. So on the Mahjong click, we'll go, it's click to match. And then asset folder would be click to match folder. Now these folders are pre-existing in that assets folder, so they're pretty laid out for you. Drag to match, you dump whatever you want in there. If it's like a gem match, you'd put the gems in. If it's a bird match, you'd put different birds in. You know, whatever it is, right? Click to match, that's generally things that you match like a Mahjong game. So letters, numbers, symbols, runes. I'm shipping runes with this, right? So click to match, and then down here you choose, right? So we come down here, rune 1, rune 2, rune 3, but you could change that to drag and match, and then there you would be choosing wood debris, right? And so you just need to stick with a labeling convention, whatever you drop in those folders that work for you, right? Little different though on the socket game. So if we go to connect sockets and we go down here to pipe match, it's click to match. That one, I haven't tested that with drag to match. It's only ever been click to match because you need to select ones to switch and you need to be able to select to rotate. It probably would not work on drag to match, although I've never checked the logic on it because I didn't really design it that way. But then you choose down here, so start socket. So you go down here to start red, end socket, end red, straight pipe, straight red, 90-degree pipe, bent red, then down, way down, and then you do the same for the green, then down at the bottom, it's like 4-way connector, and I just called that bypass. And so once you get those set up, you're good to go. Once everything's done and you've got an output folder, you've got your game set up, now you want to put some story in between them. So up here on the title menu, the first thing for story is background image. So you could choose an image. So here we'll choose, let's go ship dig. So you got a picture of a ship dig. And title would be, let's call this, what the hell do you call it? Archaeologist. Archaeologist. And there you go. So you got a name game, you got a ship dig, you got an archaeologist, and you're ready to go. Um, 1 second, my wife's phoning me. I'm just gonna decline that call. Um, now we've got the archaeologist set up, and we are ready to roll with that. But we could put in, this says press play to start, but we could put in something like, you find a ship, drag the pieces away to explore. Or whatever, right? So then on the start the game, it's got you a prompt, you're ready to go. Down here, you would then set this one down to drag and match. Set that all up, right? And then once you've got that one set up, you'd go on to your next story, which, and this one will do a mahjong click. Now we need some more story in between the levels, right? So now what you do is you go after level 1, then you would go choose an image, let's say debris pile. All right, so we got debris pile, and then right here, we replace this text with our own. You found a crate of runes, sort them out. Boom, and then you can choose a color for your text, and let's make that a green. There we go, perfect. And then up here we'll do, that's already a dark green, so we're kind of going with that green theme. You can assign a sound, whatever you want, right, or whatever. But then say you finished, so that's after level 1. You've got level 2, so you got a third level in there. So now we want to add a story segment, and in this one we would just simply change it to after level 2 now, because the level 1 preps you for the dragon match. The level 2 preps you for the mahjong. After level 1 preps you for level 2, which is the mahjong. Then this one might be for the socket connect. So you'd assign, let's say, what would you do? Let's say panel 1. That's an image of a breaker panel, and it might be, the text might be, hey, the lights are out in the museum. You can't deal with these till you fix the light box. And then you'd add another level, which would be the socket connect, where you connect the wires. And then you'd add another level, which is like put your runes in the safe. So basically, you see how the engine goes. So then once you're done with the engine, you hit build game, and it sets it up, and it's ready to roll. And I've already pre-built the game. So then we come over here, and we're in the test game, and I'll just run it and show you what that engine built. So here we go. So the game starts. So you can save and load the progress in between levels, and it just saves that to a JSON file and then loads the JSON file. Keeps your points and keeps what level you're on and the name that you enter for the game. Nothing special. So here you go. Press play to start digging at the site. And there's the image of the first dig site. Play. Okay, so now we put in our name. Paul the Digger. There we go. Instead of Bob the Builder, we're Paul the Digger. Hit continue, and now we're in that first round. And I'm just going to turn the music off. We don't need the music on. I left that ability there. And now we need to get a target of 1,800 points by connecting these dots. And they add up pretty quick. It seems like a long time of playing, but I'll just show you that goes pretty quick, because as things auto-complete when they match up dropping into the scene, you clear the level pretty quick. And all it is match 3 of the same type. Now you can actually change how many you match. You could make it a match 4, which really raises up the difficulty. You could change the points. You can limit the moves. See, there's 19 moves left to get to 1,800. You could change that. And I found that's a really good way, especially in like the pipe socket game, because then you can restart the game if you mess up, right? What have I got here? We'll bring that one up there. And originally, I didn't add any color to these, and they were a little hard to see and differentiate. So I just shaded them a little bit different to make it. But there you go. See, we just cleared a whole bunch. We got 2,200. We've met that 1,800, so it's ready to move on to the next level. So we'll hit continue now, and here we are. There's the next pile. There's the broken crate with all the runes in it. You revealed a bunch of runes in the debris. Sort them out. Okay, continue. So now here, oh, that's interesting. I got an empty square there somehow. We just match 2, and in this game it's simple. You just have to have an exposed free side, right? So those disappeared, these 2 match, those will disappear. If I do these, they don't match, right? So it goes red, doesn't match. But there, those disappeared. Let's go this one, this one, this one, and oh, I don't have that exposed. Yeah, I do right there. Sorry, I'm not that great at these games. I just wanted to make it. There we go. So again, we only had 1,200 points. I had these set to like 100 per tile. Every time you clear 2, go off the board, so that's like 200 points. So again, you adjust the speed, the rounds, the points given, etc., etc. You can also affect the grid size. So like these are all, I've done all these as an 8x8 grid, but you can totally adjust that size. Now this one is back at the lab. The lights are out. Fix the panel. There's my panel. My wire's not working. Continue. And so this is a classic connect socket game here, right? So basically what you do is you can connect the green to the green, the red to the red. These spawn in a random location around the outside perimeter. This spawns in a random location around the inside perimeter. You could adjust how many of these rows there are. Now, how I have it now set with the defaults here, it actually doesn't show the rotate tile. So you either would go with like a 96 instead of a 128, or you would go with a 7 instead of an 8 on your row grid. So that also makes it harder because you've got less pieces to work from, and this is your jump gate. So you have to pass through this, and you can do red or green to pass through it, and any one of them will connect to any one as long as you're connected in the pass through. So I'll just quickly solve this for you here. So what I'll do is I'll select this one and put that one there. Then I will select this one and put that one there. This one, put that one there. This one and put that one there because I don't have any more verticals. But now then I select it, and you can deselect it by clicking it again. Select it, rotate tile once. There, see? Deselect it. Take this one, put it here. Bang. Select it. Rotate tile. Deselect it. Need another red, green. And you'll see that even though it's there, the pipe isn't connecting. So there's connection sides that are assigned in the code in the background. And this circuit will only complete once I hit that rotate tile. And there we go. We get a nice energized line connecting that tile. Okay. Now I have it set so that line and this other line that's green, they'll always be red and green. I should probably add hey, let's change the color to match whatever the dominant color in the tile is, and I will probably do that in the code. I'll probably get it to sample. But I think I have it sampling for the endpoints right now, which is fine too. I don't necessarily need it to match the pipes. I can have it just match the endpoints. Okay, so same thing. We'll do the green here, but we'll just do it a little differently this time. I'll do a cross. Oh no, I can't cross over. So I'll just do the same thing here. Here, let's go this way. Bang, bang, bang. This one's actually pretty easy to do because actually, you know what I'll do? I'll go this way. Okay. And no, I don't want that one. I'm gonna go this one instead. Bang. Just so I connect from a different area. Bang. Then we're gonna take this one to here, and we'll take this guy to here to collect that circuit. There we go. We got the green line. 400 points per line. We got our 800 points. We move on. Continue. There. Now it's like, now you've got the lights on. Now that the lights are on, you can open the safe and store the artifacts. Okay? Continue. All right. And the hint is up the top. Again, this grid, I could have shrunk this grid down and I wouldn't have had to scroll that web window, but I just left it at the full 8x8. But for one like this, you could actually shrink this down to like a 3x4, and it would work just fine. You wouldn't have the rest of this grid, and it would blend in better with the background. And again, chose a gray background, so it blends in with the number pads. But again, whatever assets you want to put in that, you're good to go. So what I've got going on here now is hint 2 plus 12 equals 3 entered twice. So that math equals out to 42, 42. I'm going to go 1, 5, 1, 3. And if I scroll down here, I got it wrong, bad try. Again, if I shrunk that grid, I would have been much better off. So now I'm just going to enter 42, 42, and there we go. I finished it, completed it. Here and down here it actually says complete. You can't really see that, it's grayed out. All levels are complete, total score of 5,000. And then you can add a screen after that if you want to end the game, like with another ending screen. You can go on to a 4th story screen that will just wrap it all up for you. But anyway, there you go. I'm going to switch this back over to the main camera. And that is my first build of a game engine. It's a puzzle game engine. Same concepts as all other game engines. You're building the tools to make the game and you render it out. And with today's web technologies, there is a lot available at your disposal. That's just JavaScript, CSS, HTML. There is nothing special running there. The back end is this NWjs, which simply has a ported version of Node.js running in it. There's nothing special there. Now, I'm working on another game engine that I'll get to when I'm able to show it off a little bit, but it's running Three.js as a framework in the background. And it is also going to be running a database. So it'll be running PHP as well. Or actually, this has a little bit of PHP in it in order to write the JSON files. So you need PHP to be able to write files on the server or whatever. But since this runs locally, you don't really need it. You could do it right from the JavaScript, but I did do it with the PHP just because it's best practice. So that being said, I built a game engine. It's a puzzle game engine. It works. It builds out a game. You can customize the story modes in between. You can customize all the assets. You can customize the music. It's a simple game engine. The concept is no different than a larger game engine, just a lot less working pieces. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you see what's possible now, like barely touching the surface with modern web technologies. But OpenGL is capable of 2D, 3D, WebSocket technology, capable of multiplayer. So there is a lot of functionality available to you now with web technology. You don't have to have C++, you don't have to have C#. Now, you don't have the same horsepower, but with today's computers, today's internet speeds, it's not really that big of a hurdle depending on realistic goals for what you want at the end of the day. On that note, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.